Hey everyone, welcome to our video session for teachers only. I'm so excited for today's Sunday's webinar, and if you join us on Sunday, you're amazing, and we are ready. I want you to be ready with my guest speaker, with my amazing guest speaker, Nelann Taylor, to make you prepared for the upcoming study year, or maybe you're already back to school. So we're going to share with some great ideas what you can take for this study year. Okay, the very first question is which part of the world you're tuning from, what is your teaching role, and while you're typing from which part of the world you are watching us, I'm going to announce the name of our discussion today. So today we are learning about back to school tech tips and community builders from the world language classroom to use in any learning environment. Sounds epic. If you got any questions, drop them in the Q&A box, and please do share with your insights, highlights, wows, and hows from the session and post them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or VK, and tag Lady Language 411. This is what we do. We're going to appreciate it. Please don't forget to share your highlights and tag our amazing guest speaker, Nelann Taylor, because she prepared incredible collection. And whenever you share with your feedback, there is also, by the way, there's also reflection space feedback collection on Wakelet that I'm going to share with you. And please don't forget to add your feedback there. Don't forget to add the social network link of your to your profile, so I can share with all the resources right back to you. So, and also on this positive note, I'm going to invite our amazing guest speaker, Milan Taylor.
Well, hello. I can't say good morning. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the globe. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited. I just want to introduce a little bit. Nelann Taylor is a veteran Spanish and technology lead at West St. John High School in Louisiana, USA. She began integrating technology into her classroom more consistently in 2017 when students called Microsoft OneNote Class Notebook a game changer, nearly banishing paper copies. As a second-year Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert and first-time MIE Fellow, Nelann loves collaborating with her global PLC to discover edtech hacks and grow her expertise. Wow, this sounds really inspiring. Nelann, would you love to add anything else about the introduction part of yourself? Please do it.
I think that was awesome. Thank you for giving that to me. No, I just wanted to say that Microsoft it really has been a game changer for teaching and learning in the classroom and just to use with colleagues. It's a little different sometimes to get everybody on board with you, especially when you have a different type of zeal or passion that everybody may not share. But just bringing your enthusiasm and what you can do and bring to the table, it sparks interest, and people are watching no matter what you see. So, we try different things out in the Spanish classroom. I'm able to take some of those things over into our leadership team meetings and with colleagues, just to help them figure out that what can I do differently with my students to increase engagement or to get them more involved in what's going on? And then what can we do as a community to bring everybody in for a more inclusive and collaborative effort? So Microsoft EDU has been definitely a game changer in that, and some of the other tools that we're going to talk about today have been as well. So I'm really excited.
Oh, I can't wait you to start sharing with all of your amazing work that you do. Thank you so much for sharing again. And the floor is yours, Nelann. Please start. I'm going to put the presentation onto the screen. Good luck.
Okay. All righty. Well, Thank you so much for the introduction. I am very excited about being able to share any back to school tech tips and community builders that I can. And I guess I'll go ahead and start sharing myself to see what's going on. So, inside of this, did I share it already? Nope, hit the wrong one.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so I am. Am I going? I'm sharing mine now.
Yeah,
Okay.
the collection is on. Yeah.
There we go. All righty. So this little portion, all this cool stuff here. We got all Anna stuff. So you guys connect with us on Twitter and Instagram. Building community. So here's one of the very first things that we started doing. You know, the first days of school are always games or icebreakers and learning about each other, and then having different types of protocols and things that we can do together. And so one of the things that I've been seeing over the years is how people have been transforming technology to fit their classrooms, or to, you know, just kind of incorporate it more to integrate what's going on and to get our students a little bit more involved. And so one of the first things that I noticed was last year, when everything was obviously shut down, everybody was sent home for remote learning. We were trying to figure out how we could still get everybody on the same page, or get to know about our students, or even get them to know about us. And so the first thing that I saw was the virtual locker. And I noticed that a lot of people were already using Wakelet. I'm one of those people who kind of just jumps in to get to go and wants to see what's happening with that. And so when I did, I was able to notice a couple of templates that people had. And so I'm always about, so I heard this on a Twitter chat before where they said case, CASE. So it's copy and steal everything. But of course, copy it and then tweak it to however you want to do it yourself. So I should say Kate to like copy and tweak everything. So what I did with this one, I saw somebody on Instagram had also posted this as well. And they usually did it from like a Google Classroom. But I was like, how am I going to do this? We're not a Google school. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how we can do that. So we ended up doing it from Microsoft. I was able to copy the document, but I made it into a PowerPoint. And then everything from there, I just kind of dumped in my own questions and things that I wanted to know about my own students. And so I gave them different types of lockers to be able to try out, when to go figure out how to make those virtual settings or those transparent issues, and then just dump them all into PowerPoint slides and made different templates for all of my students to be able to create. Told them that they would just have to copy my slide, gave them directions. You can see that in this little part in the middle where
Oh,
it says do not delete it. Mhm.
Nelann, can you demonstrate the tab with the PPT, okay? Because we can't see it. We see the collection only.
Oh no. Okay, I think I was just sharing the
Yeah,
Wakelet
because it's
screen,
so
huh?
beautiful. I love this PPT. Really,
Sure.
it's amazing that you provided the chance to copy, and don't forget to tweet and tag Nelann, because Spanish is so engaging with your ideas. It's wow. I teach primary Spanish learners, and I loved all the ideas. Yeah.
Got it.
Wow, there are so many. There is a Stormy Daniels, and she's sending you some hearts.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay, Stormy. Thank you. So here's one of them. This is everybody seeing this one now? Did I share the whole screen?
Yeah. Everything works
Okay,
great.
sweet.
Yeah.
So this is just
Because
one of the ones that I saw before, and I just kind of wanted to copy it over and make it something for the students to be able to use for that setting, and even for Spanish class. So this is after all of the integration that we were doing with each other. So we just decided to say, what are some simple sentences, giving our students a lot of feedback or a lot of input for them to be able to provide simple stuff. So I just gave them 3 different templates and shared this with them within our class team setting. And all of them just went on into our one of our channels. I probably call it either the virtual days channel or our first marking period channel. And they just copied over the PowerPoint slides and duplicated it to make it their own. They took out their my Bitmoji, right? And then they made their own. And it was great, you know, just one of the things that we shared. So that's just an example of one of the cool things that we put in there together. Mm-hmm. Um, and then, of course, I know a lot of people are fans of Kahoot, which I am at first. My students are also as well. I'm just like, guys, there's so many other tech tools out there, but they love certain things, especially when you introduce them to them and you're excited about them as a teacher. And so, obviously, I'm not sure if anybody has tried this one before, but with Kahoot, you can now build in or add in your Bitmoji to it. So I know that everybody's going over the whole Bitmoji craze, but just some simple things that can make things a little bit more fun and interesting. You can add your Bitmoji. And sometimes if you wanted to switch it up in your classroom, you can add in a student's Bitmoji and use that one as the profile for the day. So maybe you have a star of the day type student, or maybe you have, we do in Spanish what you call your special person interviews that I'm trying out this year. So maybe you want to have a student Bitmoji that you would use and allow them to direct the class. So that would be something that's different as well, to get to use the same type of tool, but just using it in a different way. So a lot of us, because we may already be techies, right? We may already know how to use all of the tools, but ways that we can change those tools to build community, to increase collaboration, and to just get to know each other a little bit more always takes it to the next level. So that's just another way to be able to try to use Kahoot. So the other two that I have on here are a digital escape scene and a digital escape room. So usually, I've done a ton of PDs before. One of my friends that I did meet in the MIE community was before we even knew that, or before I even knew about the MIE community. She is from Louisiana, and she actually shared with me how to do an escape room. Right. And I don't even think I put the copy of that in there. Well, I put the copy of the escape scene in here. So this was something new for me. But usually, as an escape room, I would create that in Microsoft OneNote. You set up your rooms as if you would have every room as a different lock. You throw your hints in there, and then you're able to see some of those things. I guess I should probably get there. I didn't even think about that. Think about all the other things, but you didn't think about
You
creating.
read a lot of incredible things already.
I didn't even think about that as a show. I was just like, how do I have a copy of this?
You
So
should see me yesterday. Yeah, have you seen the stories?
I
Oh,
saw with your eyes popping out. That was hilarious. I love it. I love it. Yes.
oh.
So one of the now why can't I sign on my own stuff? Hmm.
Oh my gosh, another comment from Stormy. Love that they made lockers to tell about themselves. Great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess while this one is pulling up, let me go back to that one so I'm not just jumping around everywhere. Huh. So they did do their lockers to get to know about me, or me about them as well. And then when we kept going, I know that some people are a little iffy about the whole Bitmoji thing. But my thing is, how can you get to use it? And because I am higher learning, I mean, I'm secondary education, so I don't have the littles. And sometimes I know that these things stand out a lot more when you have the younger students. But just because I have older students in high school doesn't mean that they don't like all the cool stuff to add to. I mean, the base of the activity is really getting to know them. And it's not
Yes.
always just the content. It is really building those relationships. And in order to build the relationships, we have to do things that are outside of our comfort zone, that kind of stretches a little bit, and they get to know each other a little bit more. And so here's just another activity that we did with the Bitmojis again in the target language. And these are acrostic poems pretty much, right? But we do them in Spanish. The tricky part about this one is, if you notice, I have all of these verbs at the bottom of the screen. And so at the bottom, these are what's called our super seven in Spanish. And so if you can pretty much utilize the super seven or the sweet 16 type verbs, you can kind of get a better hone of the language and figure out, I can have these simple type of conversations, or even not even simple, but more intermediate level conversations if you're able to use these words properly. And so we kind of did one of these things where I got a chance to know about them a little bit more. They told me their name, or, what kind of classes they had, or whatever it was. And that just made it a little bit more, exciting for me to hear about them. So here's one of my fellas in here. His name was Joshua. He's telling me that he likes to play soccer. I'm sure that he really meant American football, though. So he forgot the word Americano, but it's fine. Because I know he's on our team and we don't have a soccer team. And so he's telling me I want to speak. I want to speak Spanish quickly. All right. He says that he's a fan of the Cincinnati Bengals. He has two brothers. I have two brothers here. He wants to have like 7 cars one day, and then he really does like Spanish class. So all of these again were pretty cool. I didn't know that he had more than one sibling because I have another twin in the class with me. And then all of the other things, it just makes it so much more fun and exciting. But this is something else as well. Inside of the PowerPoint, you just create the tab that you want for yourself or the slide, copy it. I added their Bitmojis for them, and then they go in and they take my words and add in their own phrases. So just something else to be able to see with that.
Amazing. I love the, can I steal the idea with this 7 words in Spanish that
Of
you meant? Oh,
course. Of course.
amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah. So usually they say if students can get a grasp of is, the
Yeah.
2 different ways of is, likes, somebody wants, somebody goes, somebody has, there is or there are, then they can get a pretty good grasp of just picking up the gist of conversation. So it's been interesting, just to continue to share those things with students and see how they develop it, see where they go with that. Hmm. Here is, so I guess before I jump to the escape scene, I wanted to do the room to show you what I've usually done before. So usually I would create an escape room for students. I probably have done, I want to say maybe 6 or 7, if not more, 6 or 7 for the classroom, and then of course several for different presentations, right, for adults. But for the classroom, you can do escape rooms inside of Microsoft OneNote with as few or as many tabs as you like. I like to do them with at least 4, right, with at least 4 rooms, and then you have an introductory type tab and then the escape room, obviously. So the content areas that I have on the left-hand side where it says the sections, I usually give them a place to start, and I like to sometimes come up with some type of clue or something that they can do. So something that they can have for maybe we just finished doing a bunch of clip chats where we looked at a bunch of different scenes from YouTube videos and we were talking about them. Maybe we did a different class novel, and I want to get their information about the novel, whether or not they comprehended well or, understood the message or the meanings behind the different chapters, whatever it is. Or maybe this year, I'm a little slow about making it. I told myself I'm going to make it today since this is week 2 back at school. I said I was going to do my breakout today because I want them to do better on our class protocols and like procedures and stuff. So I said I was going to create one of just like our class routines, but it can be whatever you want. And I love the fact that we just dump everything into it. And this is everything that I have like around the classroom. So, or everything that I have inside of their class notebook, I pour back into the creation of the notebook so that they can see that. So that's just an example of some of the things that we have here. And then I even use a speaking part for them to use for Flipgrid, and I get a chance to hear them too. So I wonder if I did, this might be my section. See if I can see all my little passwords here.
Oh, I always forget my passwords. I'm
Right?
too bad at it.
Yes. Okay. So let me see so I can remember my hints to go back here and maybe show you some other rooms. So this one would be a movie talk. So we got a chance to see something that we shared together just to get them speaking more, right? Speaking more in the target language. And I got a chance to see how they really understood the movie. Uh-oh. See if they understood the movie talk and use the clips and things like that. So just adding our emojis again to it, adding other images or even Giphies there, all of them. I just get them moving and learning. And I think for this one, what I really want them to get a chance to do is learn how to use more proficiently the class notebook and Teams and different office products before we kind of delve in. Because sometimes I think I have a bad habit of doing that. I like to use all the tools, so I just kind of jump in. And so I just kind of throw them into it. But I think that I could I could probably do a better job of helping them along the way, So but that's just an example of one of the escape rooms, something that they can get a chance to listen to, and then they just give me their answer and move on to the next one. And that's pretty much it. But
It's a Dora Explorer, right? We've got a book. We love it here.
Exactly. So they all tell me, I was just like, how do you guys? That's like the one line that they realize that they remember from Spanish class was like, ayúdame. So they all come in and just like, I know a little bit about Dora. So I think that's exciting. I was just like, well, that's cool. Let's just build on that. And so we just move into different things, and I just continue to plug in other things. So I also use a lot of, I guess in the language classroom, sometimes you call them authentic resources. And another activity would be inside the escape room still, I plug in things from Instagram or from Twitter because we build our communities that way. So why can't our students do the same thing? So I try to use resources from native speakers, and get the students really listening to the language over and over again to see what they
Yeah.
have acquired. So I'll put down questions that they have or should have been able to hear and determine from the video clip, and then they continue to answer them for me. And sometimes I'll get them, obviously, like I said, in Flipgrid to give them back to me. But those are all getting to know you activities. I did this one as an escape room, and so you have different things that you can do to build that confidence. Mm-hmm. Um, am I going too fast, or has anybody said
No,
anything?
no, it's okay. I just wanted to, I'm making the notes that I wanted to give a shout out to that you amazingly well organized the instructions for students.
Mm,
It's epic. It's really essential, especially at the very beginning of the study year or throughout the year when you want to use new technology in the classroom, new
mhm.
tool. And wow, that's amazing. I really love OneNote more and more these days.
Yeah, yeah. OneNote definitely is a lifesaver, it really has been, because it's almost just like when you look at all of the things that it can house and do, it just makes it so much easier to use. This one, I don't know why it's going to a different screen like that, but this was the first time because this is the first time last year that I ever did a scene, an escape room scene. So I'm wondering why it's showing the two things over here. That's weird. Let me see if I can just go back to it. There we go. Okay, so in this one, we had finished up a movie talk as well, and I did want to give them, you see that it says final exam at the top. So I did want to give the students something a little bit different to close out the semester to see what they had. And so using Microsoft tools again, because like I said, we're a Microsoft district, I have to be able to use those things. And I want my students to be comfortable with that. And I want staff to be comfortable with the same things too. So this was the first time that I did the scene, the escape room scene. And what happens, excuse me, is I created the form. This is really how I get all of their answers in, right? Because they can just click through different things. But the directions at the top are really click around the town, find the clues. And I want to say I only have 5 questions in there. So it's really easy. But to them, it seems like a lot because they're just like, I don't know what clues are what. So there are some things that I have in there that leads them to a Flipgrid video. And the video is just like, try again. And there's some clues that are actually the real clues, right? The real ones that do say, something from me or something that they can click. So I think if I just hover over them, you'll be able to see. But obviously, I must have them on all of them because my little hand is pointing on all. So it's so tiny.
This guy. So your Microsoft account and Google account is in Spanish. Is that correct? Yeah. So you use it for students as well to
Mm-hmm.
demonstrate. Oh,
I
good. So
do.
clever.
Yeah. So it goes back into like this one just must have been a no hit like I had there. So when they click on it, it just says the same thing.
Oh man, not quite. Try again.
I
But
love
if it
it.
were a real one, it would open up into a real scene or something from the video for me to be able to see. But I haven't seen them in so long, so it's like I don't know what I'm clicking on either. But yeah, so this is just another fun thing too. So some of them they're just like, and they choose these things, which is the good thing about it. So talking about giving your students more voice and choice, they choose what it is in
Yeah.
our classroom that they would like to discover, or how I should say, how they want me to assess their knowledge. It's not just me trying to come up with the ideas. It's them actually telling me, you know what, I really like that escape room. Can we do something like that? Or I really liked how we did the Quizlet Live or a Kahoot game to assess information. I really like that. And just, it gives them ownership of the classroom and allows us all to continue to share some different things. I don't know where I put my little hints at because I'm definitely getting all the old man's. But after they do all of those things for me, after they get through it all, they actually would see every hint. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So every hint is given a clue and a letter, and they just fill that out on that form. They realize that for me as they're working through the form. So obviously we wouldn't know what this is. It's a place for students where they learn Spanish. It is and they would give me the answer here. And our English answer is school. So the Spanish answer for school is escuela.
Escuela.
Yeah. So after all, they go through all the things, I would get a chance to hear them speak. I would know that they're listening to me because I'm the one who's talking to them in the videos. So they're getting the input as well. And then, it just comes out in a more fun way. So that is another, not necessarily a getting to know you activity, but it could be for back to school because like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do the escape room for our classroom procedures. So that's something that I will be using. I promise I plan to do it today. So I'm going to make that on my agenda. Yeah.
Wow. And Nelann, where do you place the mensaje secreto?
They put it in that form for me. Mm-hmm.
A form. Oh,
yeah.
Here. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank
so they
you.
put it back in that form, sure. And that is just a couple of questions too. And honestly, I tell them to use that form as they go so that they can see the questions and that they can, is this Flipgrid? All of them went to different things. Flipgrid. They can see the questions as they go along, and it actually leads them through it. As they're clicking on the form, it leads them through what's happening. I don't know why all my little links are popping up like that, but yeah, well, it's over.
There's from Jaka. Jaka said, "I love Escape the Room." This room's so much fun, and you showed it how it works exactly.
Yeah.
This is really precious to me because I want to start creating them. Just after the 27th of August, I promise everyone I'll be free.
Exactly. Right. So that's what they are. And honestly, I did a session was it last month sometime for the Express Fluency Conference. It's called Conference in the Cloud. And I had a session, I called it Makerspace because I really wanted them to come in and make their own and use that time to create it for themselves. But they were like, oh, I've never done an escape room or never created one. And so I gave them the opportunity to go through one that I had built before, and we just kind of walked through it together of all the rooms. But when they noticed at the end, I said, guys, really, it only takes like 5 minutes to create in OneNote. It really does. So for you to just come up with all your tabs and, throw all these things in there, it really literally takes like 5 minutes. The thought process is the part that takes the longest. What is it that you're trying to assess? What really do you want to throw in there for your students or for your learners? So the thought process is the longest, but just going inside of OneNote and building the rooms or locking the rooms, after all, is the easiest thing. Seriously.
Amazing.
Yeah. This was one of my favorites, and I saw this. I actually learned this from the MIE community, and I loved it because I really felt like when they asked us all in the beginning to drop our Bitmojis, I really didn't use Bitmoji like that. Like I have a Snapchat account for my students and for our classroom, just because I know that it's what they like. And so if I can get them to enjoy learning the language or acquiring a language using the tools that they prefer, I would go ahead and do that. And so a lot of times I plug in my Bitmoji, or I put different things that we've done in class or their highlight type videos on our class Snapchat page, just so they can see it for themselves again and interact more with the language. And so when I saw this in our Microsoft community after a community call I think we had, they were just like, yeah, go ahead and drop your name or drop your Bitmoji in the chat. I was just like, oh my goodness, I could do this I could have done it with faculty and staff, but everybody doesn't know how to make a Bitmoji, and I wasn't up to sharing that. Or trying to spend time to go teach everybody how to do that. But I was just like, my students know how to do this, so I can guinea pig this activity with them first and then take it to faculty and staff. And so what I did with the classroom is I told them all the same thing. We did it for a bell work assignment for a couple of days. And I was just like, hey, if you didn't get your Bitmoji in, go ahead and drop it in the chat. And it's already inside of our team's group. So I don't have to worry about them not seeing anything or me not seeing it. It's still a collaborative effort. It's still in one spot for us to be able to go to. So as soon as they all dropped their Bitmojis in there for me, I was able to go in, went to a PowerPoint slide, found a cool little background, and these are the little bleachers that I found, made that a transparent image, put our school logo in there, drop myself as a Bitmoji, and then threw all of my students in there, and this is our first period class from the fall. And then I also did one from the spring, I think. So it's a lot less few students. So,
I love this idea. I just love it. This incredible.
but it just builds them all in there, and I think they were really excited about seeing them too. So if I could, I should have put a picture of that one, but for whatever reason, I cannot log into my Instagram. But if you go into my Instagram page, I do have it there. And then I also show, like in the very beginning, I cut out their Bitmojis and put them on regular paper, regular 8.5 by 11 paper, cut them all out, and then posted them around the room. And so at that point, we used Flipgrid again. And so some of them gave me all kinds of stuff, because we've done a ton of Flipgrid videos, but I used their Bitmojis from last year with a Flipgrid video for this year's incoming students, to give the newcomers tips and tricks about Spanish class. So what did they learn? What was something that they wanted to share with the newbies coming in on how they could be successful, how they should turn in their homework on time, or how they thought that I give a lot of work, but I was really lenient about it, and how we played a lot of games. So all of them, they got a chance, the new students this year got a chance to hear from all of these kids last year, or the ones who created their videos, because not everybody did it, but they got a chance to hear from at least 11 students last year about tips and tricks on how to, pass Spanish class, or, what they thought about it. Mm-hmm.
My students, my primary learners, they did the same. They were so excited, when they finished the primary course, and they were like so serious, and they provided this, tips, life hacks, how to manage it. And this is so great. Amazing idea again.
That's it. Thank you. So I think that's, I guess that takes us into the next thing. Something else that we can do, the Twitter page. So I know that a lot of people, sometimes you can use the social media, and I try to use social media to our benefit, because some people are like, I don't want to put all that stuff out there. But if you use social media and you notice that your students use it, because remember, I got the older ones, I have high school. So for that level, I like to use it to showcase what it is that they do. So whatever we're doing in the classroom, I just like to put it out there for them to be able to see. And eventually, I honestly want them to be able to take it and run with it. Like, I want to have my own students have ownership of what it is that they're doing, their own learning, to go onto our social media class page, to manage it for a day, or maybe I'll get one student to manage it for that week, and really lead a classroom Twitter chat, or to lead our different brain breaks or something like that, or to post for themselves. Last year I did do classroom jobs. So I know it's that's something that people have thought about as well, giving everybody a different job to hold. And so sometimes I would get somebody to pick up the laptop cart, but now everybody has their own laptops. I would give somebody the job of being our class photographer. So they would have their phones out, or their iPhone or their Android, and they would come around and take photos of the cool things that we were doing in class, and trying to highlight each other, so that I wouldn't have to do it. And so that, again, I want to give them ownership of what's going on in the classroom. So a lot of the things that I try to incorporate with my students is, hey, this is your class. It's not just mine, it's ours, really. And so I want them to be able to feel as welcome. I want them to realize that they should be comfortable, and that they should be the ones to run it with or without me. They should be able to facilitate their learning too. I just kind of want to sit back and I tell them, hey, I just want to talk to you in Spanish. That's all I really want to do. Anything else is a freebie. So that's pretty much it. We do a ton of brain breaks. I got that from one of the ladies who pretty much took me under her wing when I first started switching the way that I do teach classes, or teach Spanish classes, and not focusing so much on grammar, but more on just the acquisition of the language. So just speaking, and just letting them listen to it and receive so much input, that eventually they become more confident, and they become more in tune with what it is that they can produce, whether that's written or verbal communication. So we do a ton of brain breaks. Her name is Annabelle Williamson, and she loves that. Annabelle Williamson, she's also known as La Maestra Loca, and she has a ton of ideas on that. So every time my students, I tell them, we get in there for about a good 15, 20 minutes, right? So I'm like, guys, if you can give me a good 15 to 20 minutes of hardcore language instruction, or, really participating and going back and forth in the language of what it is that we're doing, really focusing just on Spanish itself and the structures and just speaking, then our brain has really been working. So we need a break. So about every 15 to 20 minutes, we take brain breaks, and they're short. I really try not to go over 2 minutes, but I know they're only supposed to be like 30 seconds to a minute. But try not to go over 2 minutes. We do all kinds of stuff like a virtual obstacle course, or a what do you call it? I think it's called like a body percussion, where you're making beats with your body and your hand gestures. We do those. We do breathing exercises. So all types of things just to get them to relax and then to come back and be ready for the next 20 minutes of learning. So I have 90-minute blocks. And so when we do those breaks, it really gives us a chance to release and then come back fresh again. It's almost like taking a bathroom break. Like, okay, I can do this again for like another 10 to 15 minutes. And then it's time for another break by the time we think about it. And that way we've been able to get out more information, and they've been able to, to relax and to enjoy the process.
So you pushed all the buttons, yeah, as Ann Cosmo says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Push all the buttons. Yes,
push all the buttons. Absolutely.
Yes.
You're an amazing teacher. I told you
thank you
today,
so much.
at the very beginning, that I would love to be a part of your classroom as a student. or learn from you. Now what I'm doing, I'm learning, but I just want to be your student because it's incredible. My favorite, I love the music lesson in different language we've got in German and in English. These were my favorite ones. And you were talking about this beat and everything. It's super engaging.
And that's the thing. It's almost just like we all want that as teachers, right? We want anybody to be engaged in what we're doing. Like, I don't want anybody to come to my classroom and put their head down, even though we don't have any desks. So we're a deskless classroom, but I still don't want you to be bored out of your mind in the classroom. So, and I don't want to play like a dog and pony show either. I want you to understand that just as much as I'm working, you're working, but we're enjoying what we're doing. So really trying to make those things possible for them. But I do understand now, and I'm starting to get this a little bit more, that when I do speak more of the target language with them and not just revert back to English where they're totally comfortable, if I continue to slow my pace down or speak to them more and do a lot more gestures, a lot more pointing to our word walls or different pictures or images, then the more that they hear me, the more that they see me, then they will become more comfortable with just automatically acquiring and subconsciously being able to get that language out when they're ready. So a lot of things have changed that, we can adjust. And I think that's the beautiful part of learning too, right? Like, we realize it doesn't have to be by the book all the time, because you're going to have a different group of students and you're going to have a different group of learners, and you're going to have to know how to shift and pivot with them according to what it is that they do. So that's a little uncomfortable, but I've really been excited about it because, like I said earlier, it puts us both, I think I put that somewhere on here, where when we're figuring out things together, maybe I put it at the bottom, it puts us both on the same playing field. So there it is. This part right here. Every year is something different. So every year with my students, I really do try to incorporate like a new strategy. And then I have like a list of where I think these are like my guesstimates of what we did every year to kind of build and to grow our toolbox. But not only did I say that it shows my vulnerability when I'm figuring out things with them, it also puts us on the same playing field of learning together to say, well, Miss Taylor is human like I am. So she's going to mess up and make mistakes. But I also have the authority, and I mean them as the students, they have the authority and the power to be able to find an answer and to solve the solution. And it happened just, what was it, last week? It was either the first week or the last week of school when we did Wakelet. I think I did Wakelet the first week, maybe toward the end of the first week of school. And this is the first time I was trying to get into the classrooms, and I didn't realize, I don't know, like I created a space, which I can share. I created a Wakelet space, but I didn't know how to get my students in there. So it was just like everybody was just sharing the link to the space and just dumping their information in there. But they were just like, well, why can't I just have it in my own? Like, how come all my stuff doesn't come together? And I was like, I don't know. So I didn't know what was going on. And so one of the girls in the classroom, we were just looking at it together and figuring out what was going on. And so she says, "Oh, Miss Taylor, but you got to go back into, what if you try to go back to see all your stuff?" So I took them to my home page. And when I went to my page, I was like, well, where are my spaces and things like that? So I took them to all my things and I was just like, I know that I did this for you guys already because I did. I had already created the space. I did it for Spanish 1, right, for fall semester. And I said, I want them to all build their things in here. And so I had it for first hour. I did a collection for first hour, what I wanted them to build. And then I did the same thing for second hour. And so all of them just began to dump all of their information here. But I was just like, why can't you have your own thing? And I knew because I'd seen a ton of seminars already, right? I was just like, I've already been watching the webinars. I know how to do this. So I knew that they told me, hover over the 3 dots. They're our friends. And there used to be something on here called admin accounts, but they've now added the classroom at the top. And so when I did that, when I added them, I imported my groups through Clever and I noticed my students were there. But for whatever reason, I could not click on their names at the time to see what was going on, but now I can. So I know that they were working out some kinks. But the good thing about it is I knew that it wasn't just me. So I was just like, it can't be just me. But one of the kids in the classroom, she did help me figure it out. And she was just like, I think in order to get us there, I think you're going to have to share it with us. And that's exactly what I did. So I was able to share that with them, share the invite link with them. And that's how we got it. So, you know, they were able to join the, I'm clicking on all kind of stuff now. They were able to join the classroom that way. And that was it. So now I should be able to go in and see their things. Not quite. Looks like they're still doing the kinks. But if they put some stuff in there. So they haven't added them yet. Yeah. Yeah. But that's it, you know? So this is, let me go back to this one. This is one that I did create this year. So like I said, I was jumping into Wakelet this year with the students and with the faculty. And I just saw something talking about scrolling the internet. I just saw something today on Instagram from Tisha Poncio about, and this is Texas.
Yeah, Tisha is great.
Yeah. So she just put something on her Instagram stories. I forget who she was highlighting though, but I was like, why didn't I think of that? So, so we have the Flipgrid one talking about building community. We have the Flipgrid where your teachers introduce themselves, right? And I'm just like, yeah, go put it on the Flipgrid. I created an account already. I already did the video for you guys. Go click on the link, talk about yourself this year, and then you can even print out the QR code, put it on your door, have it for open house, just let them scan you. I'm going to put it on the main website. And so somebody else on her Instagram today said, oh, Wakelet back to school. Welcome back from the teachers. So you could create the collection and all of the teachers just dump their information into the Wakelet. I was just like, that is so simple. Why did I not think
it's epic. Yes.
Right? So
yes, I love the idea.
So the easiest things, and it's just like, I get it. But this is something that I did for the students too, which is why I gave them that little 5-story, 5-sentence thing. So I told them, I was just like, hey guys, 5 sentences or 5 pictures about you. And then obviously they're in English, right? Because they don't know anything that's going on yet. That's my big brother. So I was like, 5 pics about you, and then 5 simple sentences, and go and take it in and run with it. And so they did. And they did. And I'm so excited that they did because they did an awesome job. But I also gave them a little bit about the class, how we're learning, what it means to acquire a language, all kinds of things, where I'm going to be getting the information from this year, what we're going to do in class. And these are things I'm probably going to put in the escape room for today too. But, you know, just wanted to give them a space to be able to create. And I think I tried to add that quote. I don't know what was going on with my computer yesterday, but I was just like, forget about it. I'm not even going back to it. So I tried to add that quote from, I think they said it's Sir Ken Robinson, but he has not the quote about creativity, but it's a quote about, what is it? It's a quote about, it is creativity, but it's not that main one, I guess, because he has several of them. But it's something that he says about allowing the students to be able to create too. Like, you're not the one who has to do all of the work as a teacher.
Yeah.
That. Give them the authority, right? Give them the authority to do that. So here it is. The role of a creative leader is not to have all the ideas, right? Because that's us. Because we always like, we got to do all the things. I got to be able to introduce people. How they're going to get it. But the role of us is not to have all the ideas. It's to create a culture where everybody can have ideas and where they feel valued. And so I was really excited about that. And I love that because even this past Thursday, I try to do themed days because it really helps with lesson planning too. So Thursdays for me in Spanish class is think out the box Thursday. Some people do different stuff, like they keep their days of the week in Spanish because Thursday is jueves, and so a lot of people do ha ha jueves, and they show memes and stuff. You got to figure out, what the memes are, but it just makes it a lot easier for planning. But I was just like, I'm gonna do a think out the box session, and when I do this, when I had that there, I said, I want to get to continue to know my students, remember, because we're talking about building community. So for me to be able to do this, I wanted to, I don't even know where I put it. I wanted to be able to share with them. So inside of this one here, already, I saw this on Instagram as well. This is what I mean, beg, borrow, steal. And I saw it on Pinterest, tons of ideas. So the only thing that they do is they take a sheet of paper, right? Because we're gonna do it. You can use a sheet of paper if you want, but we're gonna do it virtually anyway. So take the sheet of paper, copy the image, whatever that image may be, and tell them what the image is not, and then see what they come up with. And this is
Wow.
a simple idea. And you can do this at any age level. You can do this with adults. But this is another part of increasing their productivity and creativity because you want them to be able to run the show. And so I got, like you can see here, 24 responses of my students, of them talking about what they did. Some people did, a student who did she made this a hat. She made it, and I said if they knew any word in Spanish, like the bonus points here. Bonus points if you obviously add some colors for me, and if you know anything in Spanish. Mind you, we're only in 2 weeks of school, but some of them have already been acquiring it on their own. Some of them have been doing it before they came to me. Some of them are really taking advantage of us using our Duolingo app and have been doing it that way on their own. So one of the girls said this was a sombrero, a hat. So she took the hat, she flipped it around so that it was horizontal, right, instead of vertical shape. And then she put a face inside of it. She drew a little boy with the hat on. Amazing.
So
Amazing.
creative.
Very creative. But I said I wanted to do this every Thursday this year. And why? Not only
It
does
is.
it just get them out of just thinking Spanish just has to be so strict. No, I can get to know all things about you in Spanish. You can show me your creativity. So I found out that she's an artist. I found out that she's already been doing Duolingo. I noticed from another student drew the number 8. He said that was his favorite number. Another student made it into an eye and drew an airplane coming out of the eye. He said he loves to fly and he wants his nickname to be Airplane. This is high school, right? So these are still little kids can do it, big kids can do it. Another student did a snake. She made it into a snake. So many cool ideas. It was just awesome. Awesome, awesome. So somebody else did a rainbow. Somebody else did the Mercedes symbol. I was just mind blown. But it goes back into what he was saying. I am creating a culture. That's what I'm trying to do, where everybody can share their ideas and where all of their ideas are valued and welcome. And so we're still back to school. We're still the first 2 weeks of school. And so those are the things that we've been doing to build our community in our language classroom. And just a couple other things that we have here. Back to school, I shared that already, the introduction that I had with the Wakelet. I was already getting ideas in mind for the one word 2022. And I'm just like, I have my one word this go around, but I did share the other collections in order to get to the one that I have now. So I figured I'll probably do the same thing with this group now inside of the Wakelet of everybody's different one words. Because I put a Twitter chat out there. I was like, hey guys, show me what you're thinking. And so many people were able to respond, and I just plugged them all in there, whatever I saw. And I want my students to do the same thing. I want them to think about what it is that they want their one word to be for not just 2022, but because we have begun the school year, I'm just going to call it the one word, hashtag one word, but for the school year. And so I'm going to give this to share with them as well and let them be owners of their learning, right? Let them come up with what it is that they have. And then eventually they create stuff for me in Spanish as well. So they usually give me at the end their one word in English and in Spanish. And then they begin to talk about it and, share why they chose that word, blah, blah, blah. So,
Wow. Fantastic. You know, I just wanted to note it down. Just to take a note of the phrase that you said. I'm creating a culture. It was so
Mhm.
inspiring. Can you repeat this, please, please, please,
For
once again?
sure. That's why I put it in there. Yes, because it
Oh,
is. It
yeah.
is so inspiring and it's so awesome to see. And you know, that's just what we do. The role of a creative leader is not to have all of the ideas. And that was so empowering to me because it allows me to think that I can take the pressure off of myself. I do not have to have a solution for everything. And I feel that the pressure of that a lot because not only do I serve my students as the foreign language teacher, but I also serve my colleagues as the technology lead teacher. And a lot of times they may just come to me to say, my tech board went out, or, you know, my laptop isn't working. I may just have to reassign it. And the students may come to me and say, oh, Miss Taylor, I lost my passcode. Can you reset it? Or it may be something simple like that. But I really want to get into the role of sharing with them the things that I'm doing now and not necessarily being on the IT side of computer support, but on the integration side of why don't we try to incorporate this? But sometimes as a leader, right, it's difficult to come up with so many ideas. And this really was able to kind of allow me to release that. I don't have to have all the ideas. I can have a couple and I can present them to you, but I really want you to be able to feel as though you can create and do whatever it is that you want to do. And so that's where we want our students to be as well. We're always talking about empowering them and giving them a voice and choice. And I believe that this quote really, really helped me understand that. Hmm.
Wow. Woohoo. that's
Right?
that's fantastic. I love this Sunday.
I know. It's
Yoo-hoo.
so exciting.
Oh, I can't wait to create this and use all of these ideas that you shared and
Awesome.
share with my students too, because I teach languages and this is so close
Yeah.
to me that, oh,
Yeah. That's great. That's great. The other the other two I think that I have down here, we already talked about how we know the clues for digital escape. I said reading storages. So the same thing like I do for the one word collections. We know that Wakelet is that all cure all thing, right? Like the dump everything into there, right? From all kind of mediums.
yeah,
But I did notice on another one, a 1 minute documentary. I saw that on the Adobe Ed Summit. That could be something else. And I think he used it. I forget his name. Um, I forget the gentleman's name who came up with that. But I do know that he said he usually did it for global type issues. And you could still do the same thing, but this is another example of what I mean by the case or the Kate. So copy and steal it, right? Copy and steal everything, or copy and tweak everything to how it's going to fit your classroom or for your environment. And
yeah,
so I was thinking about doing this 1 minute documentary with students to talk about themselves. They could, or they could even maybe even interview a different student, or they can do something about another language or another country. I mean, it's just a bunch of ideas. So something else that they can do so that you can learn more about where we are. Maybe they want to talk about their family for 1 minute. Maybe they want to talk about a special sibling, or maybe they just want to talk about a sport, whatever it is, and we have a place to be able to hub all of those things. We can put the hub inside of Teams. We can put it inside of OneNote Class Notebook. We can put it here inside of Wakelet. We can get them to do a video inside of Flipgrid as a short. The opportunities are limitless. But the thing is, we've already told our students that they have the ability to create whatever they want to create. Because why? We created the culture for that, right? So they know that they
yes,
can do whatever they want to do because we gave them the leeway to go ahead and say, do what you want. Do what you want, create what you want. I'm just going to help you to build it. So that's it. That's it.
yeah. There is a comment from Jacko. Really amazing ideas. Can't wait to use them with my students.
Yay!
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm
The
excited
same
about
is here. Yes, so
that. Yes.
inspiring.
So I hope that you guys, when you do these things and you figure out what it is that you want to do, that you would tag Anna, tag me on social media, tag us on Instagram, tag us on Twitter, because I definitely want to see what you guys come up with. I know you do too. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and from Wahiba, all idea is very important thing. So ideas are epic ones. And all the credits to Nelann because she's incredible, inspiring. My work is little, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing in the, especially back to school ideas that are so essential these days.
Wow.
And the collection I have already shared, I couldn't send, and I've shared with the reflection space. So please don't forget to drop your feedbacks there, or you can give a shout out on Twitter. And I just want to point out again the handle of Nelann and myself, so you can tag us anywhere. And I'm going to collect all of your feedbacks in one space, of course, and Wakelet, because I always do that. I love it.
Yay. I don't know why I stopped sharing here.
I really love your collection and all of the resources that you brought. And these escape rooms, wow, this is something really incredible. And yeah, anything else that you would love to add? Like anything. And there's from Stormy. So can you see the comment?
I would love that, Stormy.
Yeah.
The big kids and the littles. I would love that.
Oh, so Jaka has written, I will share for sure. Thank you so much. I love the digital escape rooms. Me either. Incredible ideas. And Nelann, what are your favorite tools these days? So OneNote, Wakelet, Flipgrid,
right?
And like, okay, the 5 top or the 3 top. Like what you would prefer? I always say 3. My 3 top. My 3 favorite.
Go for 5 because there's so many to just be able to choose from. I don't know.
Okay, it's your call. So
okay, OneNote for sure. OneNote. I want to. Can I just say Microsoft because it holds all the stuff?
Yeah, it's a system, you know.
It is like it's a whole thing all in itself. Clearly Flipgrid, but I know Flipgrid is already in Microsoft, so they're like
yes,
the same kind of.
Yes.
Wakelet, obviously, fave. I know people are probably going to be like, "What is she talking about?" Duolingo, but I use it a lot with my students.
I know that.
Duolingo, and I'm going to do something a little bit different this year. Not necessarily a total app, but because I want them listening a lot more, we're going to get into podcasts a lot more this year. So really hearing the target language podcasts. Spotify.
So Spotify. Oh, really? Spotify for students podcast.
Yeah.
Would you like them to create their podcast there, or just
just the listening for this round?
Just
so them not creating yet. Yeah, them just listening.
Jacka has dropped this one. Mine is Wakelet. Wakelet, yeah. To keep everything is on Wakelet.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
wow,
sure.
this is incredible. So much fun. So many great ideas. Please don't forget to check out the Q&A box. If you've got any questions, drop them there too, and add your feedback to the Wakelet collection reflection space. Don't forget to redeem the code for training session if you're MIE expert or even trainer, fellow. So I wish everyone to stay safe, healthy, and inspired, because Nelann has brought so much inspiration to teach Flavidos. Thank you so much for your precious time. I have posted some stories with you already because you were talking, with all of the love, passion for education. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your time again. Thanks everyone for joining us, and stay tuned. Anything to add, Nelann? What would you love to say?
Stay tuned. I mean, there's so much going on. Follow us. Follow me on Instagram, because that's where I put most of my stuff. I'll put stuff on Twitter too, but Instagram is usually how I can do more stories and whatnot. And I do have the blog, not just the classroom blog, but really my Instagram posts are like my blog posts.
I love your Instagram, really. And all the contacts are in Wakelet collection that I've already shared in Q&A box. So you can check this out, all the contact there. And Milan has got at least 4 Twitter accounts. You can follow them all. Yes. I really love your Instagram and blog. You can check the link to the blog of Milan, and it's epic one with lots of great ideas. And again, lots of inspirational quotes from you. I read them all, and I loved it. So thank you so much again. You're amazing. You made me so inspired, and thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for another great session from Rosa. Roxana, thank you. Thanks everyone. Stay safe and tuned. Have a great day. Take care. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye everyone.